right now.
From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at 5:30, streaming now.
Now at 5:30, a young man shares a very personal story of a time of crisis in his life in hopes of inspiring and empowering others. And a state lawmaker's hopes persistence finally pays off in this legislative session. The law she hopes to see passed after a decade of trying.
Topping our lineup, the rules for vaccine distribution are changing, while the federal government will now be releasing the second doses of the COVID shot. And it's no secret the vaccine rollout has been a bit slow. We're taking a look at just how far behind schedule the vaccine effort is running and what can be done to speed things up for everyone. And another disease that we can all learn a little bit more about and have compassion for is obesity. The new efforts to educate people about weight bias and its harmful effects.
First at 5:30, a story of courage and honesty you hopefully won't forget. When you meet Brandon Warren for the first time, you'll encounter a determined and enthusiastic young man. He's seeking to empower and inspire others in a new way after a personal crisis 1 year ago. As WRTV's Rafael Sanchez reports, since January 2020, he's been focused on his health, his faith, and family, and felt this was the best time to share his story.
5 days into a new year, Brandon Warren would need his family and faith to survive this crisis.
I'll tell you one thing, nothing happens in vain, and my God did not lead me here for nothing. He has big things in store for me.
In high school, Brandon was among the kids who dreamed big.
Enough chairs for 400.
After the shooting death of a fellow football teammate in 2017, he started the group We Live Indy to focus on youth violence. The organization allows teens and politicians to build bridges to address the complicated issue.
And because of all of your efforts and the efforts of your friends and your family.
In 2018, WRTV honored Brandon's good works with a surprise presentation of the Jefferson Award for Multiplying Good outside of his home, surrounded by his family.
Congratulations.
The young man's efforts received national acclaim when he represented Indiana at the National Jefferson Awards ceremony in the nation's capital.
I was determined to start an organization that stands up against all youth violence and gun violence.
The teen, in the spotlight during his high school years, found himself facing dark moments while in college in Muncie. Anxiety and depression led to an attempted suicide with a gun. January 5th, 2020, a day Brandon says he will never forget.
Okay, let's walk.
The gunshot injury to his head was severe, taking months of rehab to recover. He had to relearn how to talk and how to walk. Every step of the way, his friends and family were at his side.
I was able to realize my army of people that I actually had and still have there for me anytime I find myself in darkness like I once was in. There for me in such a way where they're there for me emotionally, mentally.
His path to good health has included a recommitment to his faith, a rebirth, and a new book entitled Be Inspired, filled with words and a story that he hopes will help someone during a difficult time.
How can my life be inspiring to one other than me? So despite my injury, despite all the trials and tribulations of life, despite January 5th, how can I use my situation to inspire someone else?
Before our conversation was done, Brandon shared what's under his right wrist, a tattoo, 8 letters, which spell out the word continue.
To remind me as a survivor now to continue, to remind one not to give up, but yet to continue.
Working for you, Rafael Sanchez, WRTV.
Brandon's new book, Be Inspired, will be out soon. He just celebrated a birthday and is continuing his college studies. Kevin.
Amanda, this colorful map represents the temperature change over the last 24 hours. The darker the color, the reds there, represent where it's about 15 degrees warmer than 24 hours ago. Sunshine certainly helped, along with southwest winds. We had a peak gust to 28 today in the metro area. Let me check and see. Do we have time? Can I just watch the sunset? It's at 5:42. We've only got a couple more minutes. It's nice to see. Hopefully it's beautiful at your house as well. During the day tomorrow, temperatures, they'll start a little warmer. They'll end in the mid-30s or mid-40s, 39 at noon, and partly sunny skies in the afternoon, some more sunshine back with temperatures around 45 in many spots. Chris?
After President Trump was banned from social media sites, some are expecting some new efforts to regulate the platforms. Even before the deadly riot at the Capitol, some Republican lawmakers were calling for changes to what's called Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act. It provides legal immunity for internet services as well as for what content is posted online. But now that platforms are kicking off people like President Trump for inciting violence, critics are saying that conservative voices are being censored. However, experts say these bans are not part of Section 230.
I think it's really the public that has pushed the companies to do this more than anything, and they've figured out that it's actually in their commercial interest because that's what the public wants.
Section 230 is expected to see changes once the Biden administration takes office, especially when it comes to privacy. But as conservative users move over to other platforms, it's unlikely that we'll see a change in regulations there.
I think it's less likely. It's more likely, though, that we will see various kinds of regulations applied to companies that surpass a certain threshold in users, typically 20 million or 50 million users, which might qualify them as large companies.
While Section 230 has faced criticism, there still hasn't been a proposal against it that has gained significant traction. Democrats are seeking more aggressive moderation on content, and Republicans are pushing for fewer bans. This makes it difficult to come up with a proposal that both sides agree on. All right, the news feed starts with the new feature on Yelp that'll try and help you be more comfortable if you go out and about. The app launched a feature where you can give specific feedback on whether a business is taking proper measures during this pandemic when it comes to limiting the spread of coronavirus. You can find it under the Health and Safety Measures tab. Now, Starbucks is taking new steps to help improve diversity and equality. The coffee chain is pledging $100 million to help small businesses and communities. The chain also says it's working to improve diversity in its leadership positions. Now, we do have some good news in the fight against cancer. Doctors are reporting a record one-year drop in cancer death rates. They point to the success in fighting lung cancer specifically. All right, next in our lineup, the rules for vaccine distribution are changing. Why the federal government will now be releasing the second doses of the COVID shot.
Get Stewart.
A state lawmaker is not giving up on implementing a law that requires Hoosier school children to learn cursive writing. This is the 10th straight session that Senator Jean Lysing of Oldenburg has introduced this legislation. She keeps pushing for it because she says cursive writing is not included in the Common Core curriculum, and today's young people are not able to validate their driver's license or sign agreements. Senate Bill 52 has been assigned to a committee but does not have a hearing date yet.
To speed up America's COVID-19 vaccine process, federal health leaders say states should immediately expand access to everyone 65 and older, and to anyone 16 and older with a comorbidity that puts them at a higher risk of serious illness. Another big change, the government is going to release all of its supply, not holding back second doses. The heads of HHS and the CDC saying there is far more supply than demand. And they have full confidence in manufacturing and distribution now that they can get second doses to anyone who got the first. Health officials say they never intended for states to hold off on expanding access until the first groups were fully vaccinated. Doctors that advise the FDA to approve the two vaccines agree there is a larger issue.
I think this is the ultimate demonstration of problems with the American healthcare system, which is fragmented.
4 weeks into vaccine distribution, some 9 million first doses were given. Federal officials believe any lag with states could just be a data reporting issue, but they also said that states should stop micromanaging vaccines and expand to pharmacies, community health centers, and max vaccine sites. Military also said today is expanding distribution to pharmacies. The federal government is giving states 2 weeks to boost their vaccinations, get their data reporting in order before they change how they allocate supply. After that, it will be based on how fast states are administering vaccines and their population of 65 and older. Now, one important thing that will not be changing is timing on the second dose. The data on vaccine efficacy is based on dosing 21 or 28 days apart, depending on the vaccine, and they are sticking to that. All right, still ahead in our lineup, it's no secret the COVID-19 vaccine rollout has been a bit slow. We're taking a look at just how far behind schedule the vaccine effort is running and what can be done to speed things up for everyone.
All your brand new devices.
The IRS is having unexpected problems getting stimulus checks out to millions of people despite months to prepare for this second round. Alicia Nieves shows us what the issues are and how you can ensure that you get the money you qualify for.
When $1,200 stimulus checks went out last April, experts say it was not surprising to see issues with getting money to people as the IRS had to rush to set up a system and get checks out fast. But this time around, with the system in place for months,
I thought it would be smoother because they had a lot of experience.
Bob Probasco, a CPA and head of a tax clinic at Texas A&M University of Law, is surprised to see an estimated 13 million checks delayed because of issues the IRS is having this round.
There was one big problem that surprised me because it was a problem before, and we thought it had been fixed, but it had not.
That problem is with the IRS sending money to the wrong accounts, mostly for taxpayers who had returns done by companies like H&R Block or TurboTax, since these companies usually set up temporary bank accounts to get their clients a refund faster. And stimulus checks are again going to those temporary accounts, getting sent back to the IRS, and then getting mailed as a check.
I thought that they had that fixed. Turned out they didn't.
A new issue this round is with stimulus checks getting mailed versus direct deposited. That's because this round is based on 2019 returns only versus 2018 or 2019 returns in the first round. So if you are a person who didn't get a refund last year, you no longer have bank information on file for 2019. It's expected the IRS is going to have all checks mailed by this Friday.
But if they have not mailed you a check by that date, you're going to have to get it by requesting it on your tax return for 2020.
The IRS says it will not process $600 stimulus check payments after the 15th, forcing anyone beyond that date to file for the economic impact payment. It is also not commented on what it would do if a $2,000 stimulus check is approved, something President-elect Biden hinted he was eager to see.
And they're going to have to be ready to hit the ground running.
During last week's appointment for his administration's economic team.
The problem of a third stimulus check is something that they need to give careful thought to.
Experts like Probasco recommend the next round not be rushed with a short 2-week deadline seen this time, and that the IRS or Congress issues guidance as soon as possible. I'm Alicia Nieves reporting.
Alicia, thank you. Now, the most recent round of stimulus payments and boost in unemployment benefits won't likely be enough to keep many renters in their homes once the eviction moratorium expires. Before the latest COVID relief bill, Zillow estimates the average out-of-work renter was spending more than 80% of their benefits on rent. Extra financial boost brought that burden down to around 43%, but that's still well over the threshold of being considered rent burden. Now, Moody's Analytics analysis found nearly 12 million renters owe an average of about $6,000 in back rent and utilities. Well, we're helping you know where to turn for a job as we continue to work to rebound. LinkedIn is out today with a new list of jobs that are in demand and hiring now. They include jobs on the front lines of e-commerce like supply chain associates or personal shoppers. Also loan and mortgage experts, healthcare supporting staff, and experts in workplace diversity. LinkedIn is making 15 courses, it says, help people get hired for top jobs free on its website until the end of the month.
I hope the view out your window looks like this. Our Weather Now camera showing you the beautiful sunset. Choose any adjective you want. I call it stunning, as we have nice little burst of color there. Just enough clouds on the horizon to add some character to the setting sun. Temperatures upper 30s to lower 40s. First time since 8 days ago that we've made it into the 40s. As you look at the radar, we won't need that for a while. We're in the middle of our, well, I shouldn't say middle. We're on a 10-day run without any precipitation. The streak will end, it looks like, Friday. High pressure, though, in the meantime, sits down around Memphis, Tennessee, and that continues to keep us dry, and weather systems to the north. Temperatures during the day tomorrow with a mixture of clouds and sunshine in the 40s, mid-40s. The change on Thursday, those temperatures in the mid-40s will come with more cloud cover ahead of that next system that brings some snow showers Friday. Chris?
Just how far behind schedule is the COVID-19 vaccine rollout, and what else can be done to speed things up? Maya Rodriguez is getting some answers.
Despite the lightning-fast development of several COVID-19 vaccines,
relax your arm to your side.
Operation Warp Speed is now hitting speed bumps when it comes to actually administering the needed shots.
The issue is not the supply of the vaccine. The issue is not being able to get enough people injected with the vaccine.
The federal government set a goal of having 20 million people vaccinated against COVID-19 by the end of 2020, starting with healthcare workers and the elderly in December. But according to the CDC, nearly 2 weeks into the new year, about 9 million people have received an initial dose. And the numbers are even smaller for those who've received their second required shot, just about 379,000. So what's the holdup?
Well, indications are that it's all along the supply chain.
Dr. Bruce Y. Lee is a public health professor at City University of New York and an expert in vaccine supply chains. He says the delay lies with both the federal government and the states.
There's not enough delivered to the states. And then you can see there's this discrepancy between the number of doses that were delivered to the states according to the tracker and the number of doses that were administered.
But Dr. Lee says why that is happening isn't clear at any government level.
There is not enough transparency in terms of where the issues are and where the problems are, because if you don't have that transparency, you can't solve the problem.
Dr. Lee says the solution? More federal involvement.
Ultimately, this is of national concern. So the federal government needs to organize and coordinate the entire vaccine supply chain.
As it stands now, the timeline for when everyone can get the vaccine is getting pushed further back. Even if 1 million people get vaccinated every day, which they aren't even close to right now, it would take 6 months for the shot to reach just half of the country's 330 million people.
And there are lives that we will continue to lose that we could have saved. So this is really, really serious business.
A health crisis that could continue to stretch well into 2021. In Washington, I'm Maya Rodriguez.
Maya, thank you. Let's start the news feed with more lawmakers testing positive for COVID-19 after the siege on the U.S. Capitol last week. At least 3 Democratic members of the House have tested positive, and they've criticized Republican lawmakers who declined to wear a mask as they went into lockdown. Los Angeles County leaders are trying to find ways to stop the spread of COVID, and they now want essential workers to wear masks at home. They hope that will be an added layer of protection as cases surge there. And Los Angeles County also arresting dozens of people for super spreader parties. Authorities arresting 182 people, the arrest happening at 2 commercial buildings. Now, finally in our lineup, a disease that we could all learn more about and have more compassion for is obesity. The new efforts to educate people about weight bias.
We don't want you on our team. You're too slow and fat. Don't you care what other people think?
You need to do something about your weight.
Those are some difficult comments to listen to, but the reality is millions of Americans face weight bias every day. That's the topic of a new national campaign by the Obesity Action Coalition. It aims to educate people about the different forms of weight bias and to remind us to treat everyone with dignity and respect.
I have to say, I didn't recognize it for a long time. And when I did recognize it, I thought it was okay because I thought I deserved poorer treatment, less respect because of my weight. And it took me a long time to learn that that just isn't true.
Patty Neese is a chairwoman for OAC, and she's experienced the most cruel forms of fat shaming while trying to exercise in public and other more subtle forms of weight bias. She encourages people to start by looking at their own bias.
What do you think when you see someone of my size walk into a room? Do you think, I bet she's an award-winning attorney? Probably not. Do you think she looks good in blue? That's okay. But do you ever just think there's another person without any negative judgments?
Now, weight bias is harmful. It can lead to stress, depression, isolation, and unhealthy behaviors. It exists in education, employment, and even doctors' offices. Now, one first step is recognizing obesity as a complex disease, and a lot of people don't have access to proper care to treat it. You can visit stopweightbias.com to take a quiz to understand and recognize the problem and to learn how to be part of the solution. Now, when will school return to normal? How will they do it safely? One school thinks it's found a path to do this. Tomorrow, how test kit vending machines and closely monitoring each building's wastewater are just part of the plan.
2 days in a row, we should have sunshine again during the day tomorrow. We'll start a little warmer. Bus stop temperature 28, 45 for the kids heading home tomorrow afternoon. And